Hey guys, Vann De Marco from Oakwyn Realty here. In today's video, what I want to do is talk about the 5 biggest mistakes that I've personally seen first-time homebuyers make here in Vancouver and talk about how you can avoid them going into your first transaction. So the number one thing is not knowing what you can afford before you go out and start looking at properties. So what I mean by this is go out and get a pre-approval done either by your bank or by a mortgage broker before you start touring properties. So I've had scenarios where buyers have said, yes, we want to look at properties up to $700,000. We've gone out, we've looked at properties, we found the one that's absolutely perfect, and then there's a financing hiccup. And when they went to go actually finally get pre-approved, they were only approved for $550,000. So you want to really avoid those scenarios. You don't know how much you're pre-approved for until you have it in writing from a lender. So that's number one. Number two is forgetting about all of the additional closing costs in addition to the price of the property. So these can really add up, and I've seen many times people forget to budget for this. And these are all costs typically that you have to pay upon closing. So things like the property transfer tax, legal fees, appraisal costs. I've actually created a video that outlines all of the different costs that you need to be aware of when buying a home. I'll link the video up in the corner here for you guys. But just be aware that all of these costs needs to be factored in to the final price that you're paying, and you need to make sure that you have those funds ready to pay upon completion. Number 3 is dragging your feet. Now, what I mean by this is not being fully prepared to write an offer in a quick manner. Now, this is really important, especially in today's market where things are moving really quickly and you have to have all of your ducks in a row if you come across that perfect property. And there are all sorts of ways that you can do this, but basically you want to be as prepared as possible to make a decision when the time comes. So things that you can do, you can start going through the contract of purchase and sale with your agent beforehand, so that you're familiar with all of the terms, all of the subjects that you're going to be including. And then when it comes time to put an offer in, basically all you're doing is deciding on the price, signing it, and sending it off. So you're not wasting time reading through the contract, asking questions, and basically wasting valuable time that might effectively lose you a property. So number 3 is draining all of your savings. Now, a lot of people out there, particularly first-time homebuyers, think that they need to come up with that 20% down payment to avoid paying the additional mortgage insurance, which is fair. I mean, it's significant. It can be up to 4% of the purchase price. So what ends up happening a lot of times is people are stretching and they're pulling all of their savings, all of their emergency funds to be able to make that 20% down payment. And it's effectively leaving them with no cushion. So if anything were to go wrong, if someone were to get laid off or if you had a family emergency, there's really not much there to fall back on. So in a lot of cases, it may be worth potentially putting as low as 5% down on a property, paying the additional mortgage insurance, and keep in mind that you can roll that into your mortgage payments, so you're not actually paying that all up front. So in certain scenarios, that may be a more feasible option. It's just good to be aware of those things. So number 5 is making major purchases before the completion date. So if you've been pre-approved for a certain amount, you have an accepted offer, perfect. Between that time and the completion date, which can be a month to 2 months, don't go out and buy a new car. Because what happens is when your lender pre-approved you initially, what they do is they look at your debt and they look at your income, they calculate that ratio, and they approve you for a particular amount. If you go out and buy a new vehicle, which is an additional, let's say $500 a month between that and the completion day, what they'll do is when they go to finalize the mortgage and they do a recalculation and a reapproval, basically, that number will change. So the last thing you want is to not get approved for what you were originally approved for because you made a significant change in the meantime. Number 6, this one's a bonus, use a buyer agent. For a buyer, it's absolutely free to have an agent on your side. You're not paying commission. So essentially you have someone there to walk you through the process, to explain everything to you, to draft up a contract, and to strategically advise you how best to get the home for the lowest price possible. So find an agent that you like, trust, and that you want to work with, and have them walk you through the process. So if you're thinking about making a purchase in the near future, the market's really hot, but there are still deals to be found out there. Make sure to use these tips to help you. It'll make the process a lot smoother and you can avoid mistakes that others have made. Thanks again for watching. If you guys have any ideas for future topics, please reach out and let me know. I'm always interested to hear what you want to learn about. Also, if you found value in this video, I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe to let me know that it's worthwhile to keep creating this content. Thanks again, guys. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'll see you next week with another video. Take care.